About a year ago, I know you've already heard this story, but for those who weren't here the last time, I lost my job. And since then, you've taught me how to adjust and fork in the road and be appreciative of where I am right now. I have done amazing work with myself. Over the past 1 month, I've had 3 interviews from wonderful companies that I just felt really aligned with and happy about, and I even started celebrating joining them. None of them have hired me. I feel that I'm just on the cusp of...
You are.
But I have 1 month of pocket money in my savings account. So how can one best get over the hump? And how can one best create with the time component added to it?
Well, the time component is an upstream component, isn't it? Because when you say things are getting really good and good companies are calling me in for interviews, that's really a downstream thought. Yeah. But then when you say, but no one's hired me, that's an upstream thought. And so then you try to get that moving back that way. When you say, no one's hired me and I only have 1 month left, so they better call me fast, those are really upstream thoughts. So here you stand, here and now, and everything that you've lived has caused you on this subject of employment to ask for the solution of a really good feeling, mind-stimulating, uplifting environment that pays you really well. In other words, you've created a really wonderful job scenario by virtue of what you've been living.
Yes.
It's in the process of becoming for you. And now, here you stand in awareness of this scenario, and you say, it hasn't happened yet, which is upstream. So then you say, here I stand, and it hasn't happened, which means what happens to what's happening in your now is that it just extends a little further into your future. And you say, but it's not happening, so what's happening now just extends a little further into your future. So your future experience cannot change if all you're doing is observing your now experience. Because now is dominant. That's what our friend said earlier. Does what's happening now have to dominate my vibration? And we say, no, it certainly doesn't have to, but most of you, because you are observing themes, cause it to. You observe what is, you spew it into your future, then you get into your future and you observe what is, and then you spew it into your future, and then you get more of it, and then you spew it into your future, and then you get more of it, and pretty soon you say, well, this is just how it is. And we say, yeah, for you. It's how it is for you, but others are living different realities because they're spewing different things into their future. So now the big question is, well, how can I spew something better into my future that I'm living right now? And we say, you have to care more about how you feel than anything else. That has to be dominant. This thought doesn't feel good, this thought feels better. It's that simple. And I, as a selfish being, am not willing to, for one more moment, hold myself apart from who I have become. We have to say to you, friends, and we say this so lovingly, your world and those that you've lived with, they've really done a number on you. Because you have come to believe in your inferiority and in your unworthiness and in the unlikeliness of things going well. And it didn't come easily. In other words, you got a little whiff of it, you focused upon it, and law of attraction caused them to show it to you stronger, until bit by bit you've lost your belief in the universe's fast response to who you really are. And we're here, as we promised you we would be, to remind you that in all of that deciphering, you are becoming, and that you must let yourself gravitate toward that which you have become if you are to be joyful. So now we've come full circle, haven't we? You have to say, if I am to be joyful, I have to close that gap, which brings this big question, but is joy an option for me? Do I get to choose joy? And we say, try it. You just got to try it. And you say, no, I can't find joy. And we say, can you find something that feels better than something that feels awful? In other words, joy might be too far away, but you can find better. You can find better. And in the better, you will feel relief. So you say, okay, I'll try it. So I feel utterly powerless. I'm 1.5 years old, and I'm strapped into a damn car seat in the back of a car that I don't want to be in, with a father that didn't want to pick me up, who's mad that he had to, who's in traffic and he's unhappy, and here I am in this situation, and I am responding to this situation. And now some bright-eyed, bushy-tailed know-it-all is smiling at me. Someone over there in pure positive energy is smiling at me. And I see it, and my source is calling me toward it, but you know how far I can get? Revenge. And we have to say, that anger that child felt so much better than the powerlessness that came before. Yeah. But you know what happens to most of you when you try to move upstream from your powerlessness and you move into revenge or anger? You come right up against a society or a mother or a parent or a school system or somebody that says, no, anger is not acceptable. And so you just go back into powerlessness. Powerless anger, powerless anger, powerless anger, powerless anger, powerless anger, powerless anger, until you believe that you have no options. And we're wanting you to understand that if you would just try for a little while to find that feeling that feels just a little better, you will begin to notice that your tide begins to turn, your stream begins to take you, your odds begin to change, your life begins to change, the people in your life begin to change. You only have to turn 1 or 2 times downstream from upstream, and your entire point of attraction is different, and everything in your experience has shifted just a little bit, and your life will give you the evidence of that shift, you see. So, Abraham, I've only got 30 days left. And we say, how does that make you feel? And you say, worried. And we say, then don't talk about that. Say things like, things usually work out for me. Say things like, I can feel that things are beginning to move in my favor. Say things like, I know I'm really picky and I'm looking for something that's exactly right. And I could have settled for many things. If money were the main factor, I could have said yes to a lot of things that I haven't felt like saying yes to, because my criteria of what I'm wanting is very clear. And I'm not the least bit uncomfortable about holding out for what I really want. I believe that the universe will yield to me what I really want in time. And I know that the universe knows what my time factor is. I don't have to keep saying, I've only got 30 days left, 29 days left, 28 days left, 27 days left, 26 days left. I know that the universe knows, and I can tell in my ease that I'm moving toward it, and counting these days is not giving me ease, it's doing the opposite. Yeah. In other words, I've got to stop the countdown, instead just start expecting that things are unfolding and knowing that it's going to work out just fine. Things always work out for me one way or another, and now I understand so much more clearly everything that I've ever understood before. I get it. I get how it works. So I'm looking forward to the way it will unfold, and I know it will unfold in time. Now you just relieved. And in those kinds of thoughts, you set up rendezvous with future potential employers that you didn't have access to 5 minutes ago. Yeah. You didn't have access to them because you were pointed in a different direction, you see. That's how it works. Things always work for you. It is not possible for you to not get the job that the inner being part of you already has, knows where it is, knows how much it pays, knows what you got to do to get it, and is standing over there saying, come this way, come this way, come this way, come this way. And you say, 29 days, 28 days, 27 days. And your interview say, doesn't matter, come this way, come this way, come this way, come this way. Had 3 interviews, didn't like anybody, nobody called me back. Come this way, come this way, come this way, come this way. You just got to go in the direction of it. You say, oh, but that wouldn't be realistic for me to pretend that things are working out when the evidence points otherwise. And we say, alignment is not a difficult thing, but alignment does require alignment. In other words, you got to be aligned before you can align. So before you can rendezvous with the job of your dreams, you've got to be in alignment with the source of you. Before you can rendezvous with the lover of your life, you've got to rendezvous with you. In other words, you have become that person in those relationships. But if you don't feel good, you're not at that vibration. And so, thank goodness the universe is not yielding to you the job you do not want. For every single thing you want, there are 20 or 30 or 40 available avenues to open right now, to lead you closer to what you want, right now. They're there, ready to pop, with you just turning downstream. But the problem with being turned upstream is you got the upstream habit. And you got to develop the downstream habit. And when you start developing the downstream habit, people are going to say, what have you done? It's like all that stuff was lined up outside your door. How'd you get the door open? Avalanches of things you've been wanting just begin coming into your experience. You say, well, I just stopped worrying about it not happening, and it started happening. I just started playing the positive what-if game instead of the negative what-if game. I just started feeling more optimistic and not so pessimistic. I praised more and criticized less. I stopped beating up on myself and loved myself more. I looked for reasons to feel good. I breathed deeply and I took walks and I said, thank you for this planet. Thank you for this earth. Thank you for my body. Thank you for my fingers. Thank you for this stomach. Thank you for this digestive system. Thank you for this oxygen that I'm breathing. Thank you for this hotel. Thank you for this light. Thank you for, thank you. I just got in this mindset of appreciation of all of the magnificent things that are working for me. And when I activated that, then everything started working for me. The majority of what's going on in all of your lives is working so well, and yet you find the one thing that isn't working and give it your undivided attention and let it be the basis of your vibration. You got to get happy before the solution comes, and then the solution will come. And some of you have been working on a different model than law of attraction model. You say, no, Abraham, it was different for me. When I was little, the louder I bellyached, the more my mother did what I needed her to do. And we say, well, in her attempt to fix things for you, she gave you an invalid picture of things because she made you believe that the more you complain, then the more people will compensate and change the conditions in order to make you feel better. We think that it's a nice thing when a child can be grouchy and father is not knocking himself out to fix it. In other words, it's a wonderful thing when your desire to feel good motivates the direction of your thought. That's the guidance you were born with, you see. So this is what we would like to hear from every person that comes forward to sit in the chair. Not, how can I get my lover, or how can I get my job, or what am I doing wrong, or how can I stop doing it wrong to get it right. What we want to hear from you is, do you have any suggestions of what thoughts I might think that would make me feel good? Because that's the whole everything. If you would ask that question, Abraham, do you know something I might think under these conditions that would make me feel better? If you will ask yourself that, how can I feel better now? How can I feel better now? This has my attention. How can I feel better now? Well, I could ignore it. That would make me feel better. But maybe it's something big. Maybe I can't ignore it. Well, then I have to tweak it. If it comes up really infrequently, ignore it. It's not worth the effort. But if it comes up a lot, you got to do something with it. You've got to find a way to feel differently about it. Feel different. So how can I feel different? What is what is. How can I feel different? What is what is. How can I feel different? You have that latitude. You can feel worse or better. So talk to us about this employment. Just softening the whole attitude around all of this. I've been way too much thinking about this, and I've launched these rockets for a very long time, and I know the job is out there waiting for me, and I know that I'll know it when I see it, and I'm happy with myself that I haven't allowed myself to say yes to something that's not a match with what I'm really wanting, and I can feel that the universe is really on my side, and I've placed a sort of false sense of timing in all of this, because I truly know that the universe will deliver to me everything in perfect timing, and things are working out well for me. They always work out well for me. And I'm glad that I know what I know. And I'm glad that I'm getting a handle on the way I feel. And I'm feeling very good on most subjects most of the time. And this subject is no exception. And I'm going to pay attention to the way I'm feeling around money. And I'm going to step by step do something every time I feel a little red flag flare up relative to money. I'm going to stop right in that moment. I'm going to say, okay, this is it. This is what Abraham was talking about. Just now, this thought was an upstream thought. How can I make it downstream? And then just do your best. In other words, every time you feel anything less than positive assurance that things are going to go well for you, it's an upstream thought. And then just in that moment, turn it around. And what you'll begin to discover is not only is it easier, but you'll find yourself looking back on this conversation and laughing about it. I didn't need to ask Abraham what to do because it was already set out. Abraham is very kind in that they know what's over there in my vibrational escrow. So Abraham can confidently guide me. We can. For us, it's humorous to listen to any of you fretting over the timing of something unfolding because we see what you want and we see the vividness of it and the bigness of it and the power of it, and we wonder why you worry about anything. And you say, well, we've been trained to worry. And we say, yes, but does it serve you? And you say, well, we don't really know what else to do. And we say, try doing something else. Make a decision. Write these things down. For the next week, I'm going to catch myself in the act of worry, and I'm going to laugh about it. I'm going to laugh my worry away. I'm going to catch myself in the act of not enoughness, and I'm going to laugh my feeling of not enoughness away. Just take those two subjects and make a decision that you're going to laugh them away. And you will be amazed at how often those two subjects will rise within you in a day, and you will have the option to turn downstream. And a week from today, things that looked far and distant and even impossible will be realities in your experience. That's how ready to pop your vibrational escrow is. That's how ready it is.